So boys and girls, today you are going to be drawing a Christmas tree. The paper looks pretty big here in the picture, but it's actually quite small. You're going to draw your horizon, your snowy thing. You're going to draw two lines for the trunk of the tree, and then you're going to start to draw your Christmas tree. On the very top, you will add a star. After that, you can start to add decorations. I'll have idea sheets on the tables. The biggest thing is that you want to fill your paper with that Christmas tree. You really don't want to have a ton of background empty in the back because then it's kind of a pain to color in. So this is actually Miss Nicole here. She is now starting to color and she's using oil pastels. Now she's starting with a light green because we're finding that with this project, the lighter colors work better. It's also good to mix colors. So she's using a lighter green, and in a little bit, she is going to transition over to blending in a darker green. Now, does your tree have to be green? No. If you want your tree this year to be a non-traditional blue Christmas tree, knock yourself out. If you want it to be a purple Christmas tree, knock yourself out. But the one thing that you are going to do is to make sure that you color very, very hard. This is not for the wimpy color. In fact, Miss Nicole sometimes had to give her hand a little rest while she was working on this. Now you'll notice that she's picked up a darker green and she's coloring in to just kind of blend it in with the lighter. It's not like she's using her thumb to mix them together into one color. It's just that she's letting it kind of be that there's some light and some dark, because later on when we do our technique on here, our sgraffito technique, that's going to make it look really cool. So now she's using oil pastels. She chose orange, but you can choose different color ornaments, things like that. She's doing a nice job of coloring really, really hard. It should be that when you feel your paper, it feels really waxy. And your fingers are probably going to feel really waxy as well, which some of you, I know you cannot stand, but you're just going to have to survive during this project. If it's really making you crazy, because I know I just did it and it was making me crazy, just take the cute little smock you're wearing and just kind of like rub the fabric of your smock really hard to get some of that greasiness off of your finger. The thing is, the way to win at this art project is to color really, really dark. Look how hard she is pressing down on the paper. She is using that blue color and she is coloring and coloring, and it's going to take a while. Notice that blue is kind of dark. Another tip that we're giving you today is if you want to lighten things up, you can always go over it with white. And I'll show you that in a minute, how she's going to do that. She's already getting the heebie-jeebies with her fingers, but she's fighting through. Sometimes she stopped to crack her knuckles. Don't do that. Don't do that. Now, she had put snowflakes, and she said to me as she was working that she kind of wished she hadn't done that. That it kind of seems better to just leave it plain in the back. Now, this person is an example of someone who didn't color hard enough. Do you see the white space in their background? You don't want any white space in your background. You want it to be that it is dark. And sometimes what some people do is they use the side of their oil pastel to kind of fill it in, and then they go over it again to make it dark. If you bring it up to Miss Nicole and I, and it's not dark enough, we will send you back because we want your project to be awesome. And here's where Miss Nicole is adding white into the color. She's just going over it with white just to brighten it up a little bit. It doesn't look like it's working too well on this example, but you can mess around with it until you get it where you can tell that it is really, really waxy on the surface of your paper. Now, soon and very soon, just when you think, why in the world are they forcing me to do this project? I am about to do something to your paper that is going to be, it's going to seem cruel. It's going to seem like unthinkable. It's going to seem like the meanest thing I could ever do. But before I'm about to do it, she's coloring in her snow. You might think, why do I have to color in snow if the paper's white? But trust me, got to make it white. Some kids enjoyed putting a little blue in there. This person's tree was a little small. This person, like I said before, didn't color enough. You can see that. So you're going to want to make sure that you've got a nice layer of oil pastel. This person did it really well. This person did a really good job. You can hardly see any white in there. This person was ridiculous, and hers turned out in the end great. Now here's the unthinkable. Just when you've worked so hard, I'm going to take this sloppy black goo, and I am going to put it over. I'm going to be like, ha 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 ha! I know it seems cruel, but I'm going to put that, and then I'm going to wipe a little bit of it off. And then I'm going to give you what's called a bamboo skewer. You use it for like making a kebab. And what you're going to do is you're going to scratch off the layer of the black. And when you do, you're going to be able to create all this texture on your tree. So boys and girls, when you use your bamboo skewer, the first thing you'll do is draw around the outside of your tree. Then you can see it more clearly. Then you're going to scratch off on some of your designs. Now it's not that you're scratching across the whole thing like Scribble Scrabble. You're taking one design at a time. And then what you can do is do things like this, where you're removing some of that black so that it looks like your star is shining, or that we can see your ornaments a little bit more clearly. Don't all of a sudden go super fast and just start scribbling over everything. You're just going to scribble, you're just going to take off the black one section at a time, and it ends up making it look really cool. Then you're going to decide on one pattern to put on the background, and I will be giving you lots of ideas. On the one I did checkerboard, and on the other I did swirl. So let's review. You're going to start with a snowy landscape on the bottom, 2 lines for the trunk, and then a really big line on the bottom so that you can draw your tree. Now there's lots of different ways to make a tree, but one thing that you are going to need to do is make sure that you have a star really on the tippy top. So a line across the bottom, 2 lines for the trunk, star along the top. If some of you are like, but I don't know how to make a star. I know a star like this, but if I try and do another one, it turns out like this. Well, do you know how to draw a zigzag line?
Yes.
Well, great. If you can draw a zigzag line in a circle, you're going to end up drawing a star. Watch. Zigzag, 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 bam.
Wow.
And all I did was, instead of drawing it in a straight line like you're used to, I drew my zigzag in a circle. So once you've got your star on the top, now it's your job to figure out what are your sides going to look like as you come down to the bottom for your tree. But you're going to have samples right there on the table for you to figure out what kind of sides you want. Do you want it to be bouncy? Obviously you wouldn't have them that they don't match like that. I was just giving you an example. So here last time, the line on the bottom, star on the top, and then you're going to go ahead and connect the 2 sides. Make sure that bottom line is really wide so that we can make sure to give you a nice big tree. After that, you can start to add your decorations. You can do any kind of ornament you like. Have fun.